Hey, if you're here, you probably have a Omron 3G3MX2 and you want to know how to set it up as quick as possible. In this video, we're going to show you exactly that. So let's get straight into it. Okay, depending on where you are, use the timestamps to skip ahead to the part that matters to you most. Otherwise, we're probably not going to go through all 46 pages of the quick start guide, but it will be linked down below with anything useful that we think might help you. What we're going to be going through today is unboxing and install, how to do a factory reset, how to set the key parameters that are required. We'll also go through a Autotune, and then right at the end we have a bonus tip, so stick around for that. Right, here we have the box of a 0.4 kilowatt VSD. These come in multiple sizes all the way up to 15 kilowatt in both single phase and three phase. We suggest that you purchase a filter, a line filter with your drive, and this is the relevant one for this drive. Let's open her up and see what's inside. Okay, important thing to know with Omron products is always to keep the box. The box is what you need in order to return the product if there is any reason that you might want to return it. And there's the useless paperwork that nobody ever looks at, and probably why you're here. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Nice and neat. Let's get into that line filter. Alright, in here we have some more paperwork, and then the line filter nice and tightly wrapped. This is a footprint filter, so it goes underneath the drive. It has two mounting points. I'll show you, let's just get it out. So you can mount it on the side, or you could mount it flat and then put the drive on top of that. All right, see how the footprint fits perfectly. Okay, so here's something I prepared earlier. Here is a drive and connected to the motor. You'll see the line filter is powering the VSD. Let's crack it open, and the easiest way to do that for initial wiring is to go to this bottom screw, which I recommend because it's easier to get to. We'll take that out. Once we've taken that out, we can remove the cable guard. That's going to give us access to all the main wiring points. Down here we have your UVW that connects to the drive, and this is the mains power that comes from the line filter. Then up here we have your analogs, and over here we have your I/O ports. There are 7 of them. Then we have our relay outputs, and this is the connector point for the daughter board. Say you wanted to do something like EtherCAT. And up here we have the USB port. This is what you would use to programming using our software, but I'm going to assume that you don't have that software, so we're going to be doing it with this keypad. To access the variables in the keypad, you would press the blue button. All right, let's power this thing up and set her up. Okay, So using that blue button, there are 8 group settings. So if we cycle through them, you'll see they have different letters, and you use the yellow button to access that group, and you can then change the variable inside by clicking through them. To go back, press and hold on the blue button, and that will take you all the way back. Okay, so the first parameter is B084, and this is to set the initialization. We're going to set it to 4. It sets the type of initialization that we're going to be doing. Next is B85, so that's to select if it's Japan or Europe. We're going to select 1 for Europe. Then we go to B94. This is to determine which parameters you want to reset to default. We're going to do all of them, so we'll set it to 0. But in your case, you might want to save some parameters, so go look that up. Then we want to run this initialization or the clean. So we're going to go to the variable B80 and set that to 1. That will then run the initialization, and you can see that happen. Okay, now we can enter the motor data. So you're going to need this from your motor. We're first going to go to A02 and set it to the variable 2. So A02 to 2. And that's to run in local mode, so using the keypad. Then we're going to go to A03, and that's to set the frequency of your country. So here in Australia we have 50 Hertz. Set it to your country's frequency. Then we're going to go to H3, which is to set the kilowatt rating of your motor. We have a 0.2 kilowatt motor here, so set it as relevant to yours. Then we're going to go to H4, which is to set the number of poles for your motor. This is the calculation that you would use. In our case, it's a 4-pole motor, so we will set that to 4. Okay, last step is H01, which we are going to set to 2 for Autotune. Now it's important to note, Autotune is going to run the motor, so the motor is going to move. You can run it in 0-1, which is no motion, but it will potentially still move the motor. So make sure that the motor can move before you run this. All right, now that you know your fingers are clear and no one's going to get hurt, you can press the run button and you're going to hear the motor energize. This may take some time, but at the end you will see this variable. If you do not see this and you see the number 9, there was an error, which means you need to run it again, but it's not a huge problem. Just go through the same process again. Now that we know the motor is set up, we can press the stop button, and now we can go set the motor to use these new Autotune variables by going to the variable H002 and setting that to 2. Okay, now we want to be able to control our motor from the buttons. So to do that, we're going to go to A01 and set that to 2, which means we are referencing the frequency on the front of the screen. And then we're going to go to B163 and set that to 1. And this will allow us to adjust the frequency on the front. Okay, time for the bonus tip. Thanks for sticking through all the way. What you will see if you have initialized your drive, like we've shown, that when you press the run button, it's going to go to a fairly low frequency and you have to ramp up from there. To set that frequency so that it goes straight up to the speed that we want, we're going to go to the variable F01 which is setting our starting frequency, and we're going to adjust that to the frequency that we prefer and exit out of there, and that will make sure that when you run the drive, if it's powered off and powered back on, it will start at that frequency. Slowly ramp up in a linear ramp to that frequency. Great, thanks for watching. That was our how to set up your 3G3MX2. If you have any questions, do pop them in the comments below. And if you want to know more quick start guides or any other information around some of the Omron products, also pop a comment down at the bottom. And we hope to see you soon. Cheers.